All right, we are now live. Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the Better World podcast, where we read and commiserate on the atrocities in Kingdom of Ash by author Sarah J. Maas. I am your host and main victim, Sel, writer and director of The Better World, a not-for-profit fan film inspired by Throne of Glass. The Better World podcast is the cast and crew's homework prior to starting rehearsals. We'll be meeting roughly 3 times a month to discuss chapters, character development, and just get to put in some time seeing each other. I wanted to make a concerted effort to do that since our production team is scattered around the world. Most of our folks are East Coast United States, our wardrobe director is in Canada, and I currently live in Japan. I have with me today my assistant director, Hannah, who will also be helping me host later episodes, as well as one of our cast members, Lauren. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
First, okay. Yeah, so I'm Hannah Green, and as Sel said, I will be the assistant director and assistant cinematographer and photographer for the film.
And my name is Lauren Carter-Riley, and I play Aelin Galathinius, who only shows up in one chapter of the section that we are reading tonight.
Yeah, but it is like a really good chapter, though. It's probably one of my favorite chapters of the series.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah. Okay, so, fantastic. Today's episode theme is iconic shit. Every episode, the host will pick a theme, and we discuss the chapters in the context of that theme. I feel like these in particular, after all of the introductions from the first 10 chapters, this is when we start remembering that our characters are actually badasses, and I think in their own like little bits and ways. So I'm really excited to get into this. And I'd love to focus on all of the cool things that our characters remind us of when we go through these chapters. But before we begin, we have 2 things we need to go over. One, what are you drinking? Hannah.
So I just have a Bordeaux red wine in honor of all the blood spilled in this series of chapters.
So much violence in these next couple chapters.
Yeah.
I am honoring the fact that we are in times of war and we have to ration, so I'm drinking what we found in my fridge, which was extra dry gin, a fourth of a bottle of peach soju, and some tonic water.
How is that? How does that taste?
You know what? It tastes like alcohol, so that's really all I can ask of it. And
you know?
it's doing the job. I have my Aelin goblet. So.
Perfect. As always, because I'm in Japan, I am 13 hours offset, so it is morning here, and I did drink a little bit last night, and I'm old now, so I'm actually drinking Pocari Sweat, which is a Japanese sports drink, and I swear to God, it tastes good. We were talking about this before we started live. I actually used to hate this stuff because first, I hated sports drinks, and second, it literally says Pocari Sweat on it. But it tastes. Now I'm old and I need them, so yeah, that's me. Now let's go over some no context quotes. Hannah, would you like to go first?
Yes. Let me pull it back up. Okay, maybe. Oh wait, hold on. There it is. Okay. We're gonna keep scrolling. I'm gonna do. She was a liar and a killer, and would likely have to be both again before this was through.
That's a good one. That's one of my favorite Manon ones. Oh, I should have said that. Sorry, no context. No context.
What's the point?
How about you, Lauren?
Mine is a very silly, out of context quote mentioned before we went live because it sounds like one thing and turns out to be entirely another. And that would be, and unleashed a blast of black wind right at her. It could be something horrible happening, or he's just farted on her as a weapon.
I mean, at this point, we're not exactly sure.
No context.
Exactly. We won't know until we get there.
And I'm going to be a basic bitch and say that my favorite quote is "You do not yield." So we will go over that.
This is the most iconic quote, really.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of one of the most iconic ones if we're gonna go into iconic shit this episode. Anyway, so let's start off with chapter 10. We get some Lysandra, who honestly, we need more Lysandra in this book. I know we get quite a bit, but I kind of want to see more of her and not Adian's point of view. But it looks like they've been fighting for a long time, especially right outside of Eldris, which is where they went to go meet Erewhon's forces. And now they are kind of realizing that, yeah, they kind of won this battle, but this was only 5,000 5,000 men. And they know that Morath and Erewhon have way more than that. So they're, after the battle, they kind of do like a little war council, and try to decide what is their next move. Especially because this is all of the people who are loyal to Aelin and not necessarily to the Lords of Terrasen. I feel like really weird about this, right? Because as the reader, you know, you're very close to all of these characters, especially Adian and Ren and Lysandra, and you're like, yeah, I want to do whatever, like, they say. But can you imagine being, like, 60 years old, 50 years old, and having seen, like, multiple wars, and having lived through the first war in Terrasen, and having, like, a 20-year-old be like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about?
I think it also gives, like, you really understand the scope of everything, because I feel like we've only been getting first-person perspective for the first 10 chapters, but just to say, like, oh, only 5,000 soldiers, it really makes you realize what a huge continental scale war this is.
Yeah.
And how many things have led up to it, not just what we've been watching.
Yeah, especially because they're talking about, like, the deaths and stuff, like, oh yeah, not many, only 200 people died, and you're like, okay.
200 people.
That
is
is
the size of a small theater.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that I think this is the first book. I know, you know, we go a little bit into like the Otterland politics and stuff in previous books, but I think this is the first book where you're really seeing kind of like the inter-kingdom politics of how this all works. So like Darrow ordered us to Orinth, but we don't want to go, and what are the ramifications of us not going, and is that treason? And that's kind of wild to me, right? Like, we go and we're like, yeah, they're the ones fighting, they know exactly what's going on the front lines, and yet they're being told by somebody who is not there what to do. And I go, wait, that's how we fight all our wars.
Yeah, like somebody else.
That's kind of wild to me.
Isn't necessarily like on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Yeah, and I think like close to the end there, this is one of the like the more I guess like more boring chapters in this group, where pretty much they call it that Darrow will try to call them back to Orinth, and he does it immediately because he had 2 letters. The bitch. So he's just like, if you lose, this is what you get. If you win, this is what you get. And he just had all his bases covered. But probably the cool part of this chapter was I did not think I was going to see Nox Owen again.
Yeah,
that's right.
I was like,
it was a big surprise.
Yeah, Sarah J. Maas just kind of like reaches into the archives for that one, all the way back to what, book 2?
Book 1.
Is it book 2?
One?
Book 1.
Yeah, because I can't remember. Was he in book 2?
I don't know if he's in book 2, but he's in the challenge in book 1.
Yeah, I know
and
he's
then
in the
she
challenge in book
killed him
1,
running.
but I'm not sure if he made it all the way to book 2. I can't remember. It's been so long.
Didn't he
Yeah.
get mentioned in book 2, like, briefly, but then we had other things we had to do,
Yeah.
so then it was like, oh yeah, he's somewhere.
Exactly,
We don't have time
right?
for that
So
right now.
it's like
Yeah,
she was just
he
like,
doing stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I wonder if Sarah J. Maas is just like, oh, like I need a name that like remembers Selena. Let's go pick someone from back then.
She just has a hat full of
Yeah.
the first characters that she wrote. She's like,
Oh,
dead,
man.
dead, dead. Oh, Knox could be still alive.
He's somewhere. He's supposed to be from Paranth, so like
It does make sense that he would be around, but it was just one of those ones where it's like, oh yeah, and Knox is here.
this guy.
Remember this guy? Didn't you like him 7 books ago?
I do think this is also one of the first times that we see Adian actually being a general. Other than just like ordering people around. So I appreciate him going and like socializing with the soldiers and trying to integrate all of the soldiers from the different kingdoms together and everything like that. That's actually really hard to do, especially when you're exhausted and taking the time of like going through the entire camp. I do call bullshit on it only taking like a couple of hours. That's definitely not gonna take. That's
so
like
true.
if you've ever like sat with a bunch of soldiers, they're gonna want to tell you like 5 stories at least, and that's 30 minutes of your time. So like,
and also like how big is the camp that they're in?
Right?
Yeah, and also. Yeah, because they had more than 5,000 people, because they had more than the Vogue. So, like, you can't go to all those campfires.
Just a few hours dip-dapping between the tents.
Like, that would be if you, like, walked to each one, said, sup, guys, had, like, a drink of ale, and then left.
One sip.
Pub crawl to
It's a
unionize the soldiers.
War camp pub crawl starting at 7 p.m. tonight.
Hey guys, how you doing? We're all dying.
Yeah.
So I did see something that, let me see. Recording. Hello. If this setup looks weird because we were missing a person and we're wearing different clothes, and also it looks like it's like nighttime here and daytime where Lauren is, it's because we lost the previous footage of episode 2. We got
There
about
were some
12
technical difficulties.
Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulties. I did not notice that it was no longer recording because OBS told me it was still recording while YouTube had dropped sync. So, yeah, we lost the footage of this whole hour and 20-minute podcast, and really, I'm just more sorry to Lauren for having to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and do this, so...
You know what? Now we've done it before. We can do it again, and we don't have to ramble as much as we did. We can
That's true. We can
finer points.
We can cut it a little tiny bit.
We've really streamlined the process by.
Yeah, it's if you guys don't know, this is actually several weeks in the future because turns out our schedules as an adult are difficult. So yes, by this point. We've already recorded, I believe, 6 episodes, so we've gotten a little bit better at that. But just pretend that that is not the case, and we are actually back in episode 2, and I'm going to try to not reveal all of the things that I have learned since then in chapters that you guys would not have heard yet.
Oh my god.
Anyway. Okay, so...
Okay, no spoilers, no spoilers, no spoilers.
No spoilers. Okay, so, yeah, we left off with Adian going to each of the campfires in his army, and being kind of a dick to Lysandra, which is pretty much the story of Adian and Lysandra for the first several chapters of this book.
Yeah, especially in this pivotal time where she's literally doing everything and he's
Lysandra's really
dancing
doing the
around.
most, honestly. This poor girl.
Seriously.
I feel so bad. Like, I keep forgetting that these characters are like 19 and 20.
I also forget that a lot, and it really bothers me to be reminded because I remember being 19 and 20 and luckily have never had to be near any sort of conflict to this level and can't imagine that I would have ever been this capable or responsible. I would be in a
Yep.
corner somewhere assuming that I made it this far. So I mean, no, it's everybody is so young. That's the thing that really freaks me out.
Yeah, I have to kind of
I forget.
I have to kind of remember that because if you look at it kind of in that light, their reactions make sense for their age. You know, when you fall in love and that is all you care about and you think that you found your forever person, and Adian thinks he's found his forever person, and it turns out that his forever person was hiding a huge secret from him, as well as his cousin, who he believed he was extremely close to. You know, it feels like kind of like betrayal, and I'm not here to be an Adian apologist. I actually very much dislike Adian, especially at this point in the book.
I think we all do. But
yep.
no, any sort of discovery like that at that age, like everything is devastating because everything's new.
Exactly.
And so he's, basically still a teenager trying to run a war.
Trying to run a war and sort out his feelings at the same time.
God, the perils of being a young, up-and-coming 20-something.
Gosh.
We've all been there.
I was just crying about homework, man.
I think I was also crying about homework.
Okay, so that kind of wraps up chapter 10. It's mostly Lysandra and Adian sniping at each other. It's very uncomfortable to read. Chapter 11.
Feel really bad about herself.
Yeah, exactly. Chapter 11, we're back to Kale, Irene, Nezran, and Sartak. Nezran and Sartak are just back from their patrol, and they mention the massive army that they saw while they were scouting. And they kind of bring up that it looks like they are headed towards Aniel, which, being Kale's hometown, he tends to care about. And
that's not good.
Yeah. They're trying to decide whether they should go and fight for Aniel and defend it, or do they go straight to Rifthold to try and free Rifthold, or do they even go north to Terrasen? And Irene brings up a good point, which is, let me see if I can find it.
I'm also looking for it.
It is his home. I think that would be all the proof we need to defend it. And considering everything that Kale has done in Tower of Dawn for the Southern Continent's royal family, they all kind of take a deep breath and realize, yeah, we should not really be considering this.
No.
We are going to be defending Aniel, and so instead we should try and figure out how we're going to get to it and how we're going to defend it.
I like how she advocates for him in this chapter.
Yeah,
we'll see more of that later, but
I will say that I think Irene and Kale and of course Aelin and Rowan are like a couple of my favorite couples in this series. They are just like so on each other's sides in their own ways.
Yeah.
And it's not like the same for both of them either, or for all four of them.
No.
So they all kind of advocate for their partners in the way that they know how, and I think that's really sweet and kind of cool that they each have their own signature way of showing how much they love each other. And Irene's
On the last
is.
page of the chapter, they get sweet little moments together. And,
Yeah.
like, he's like, I don't know if I can be a lord. Like, I don't know what's happening. And also, I am literally a child. Like,
Yeah.
being married and trying to, like, get back and defend my homeland.
You know, just, yeah. Don't even think about it. Don't think about it. Yeah, so Kale is grateful that his wife has spoken up for him, and he realizes once again, oh my god, I married this woman, and the title that is owed to her is Lady Westfall, which is kind of has a nice ring to it. I think he likes it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the Kale thanks the royals for agreeing to help Aniel. And Hussar, being the smartass that she is, says, thank us if we save your city.
Yeah, don't get too excited about any of this. This could all go up in flames at any moment, but you're welcome.
Yep. Oh god, it's chapter 12. Are you fucking kidding me? I can't believe I have to go back to this chapter.
I was just thinking that because there's so many chapters, and I forgot how much stuff it takes to set up a book this long, and now we're back.
Oh my god, I thought it was over. Okay, so once again, I remind you guys, I am like all the way in like chapter 60 at this point, and I was really hoping I did not have to go backwards. But so
just having this is like my third time like looking at this chapter. I read it and then I've been rereading it for the podcast, and I'm like, la-di-da-di-da, no.
So chapter 12 comes back to Aelin, and Aelin is in a moment of despair. I think a lot of the times she is under torture, she is in moments of despair, but this is kind of a very, very vulnerable moment in particular for her. A lot of it is her internal monologue with herself as she's trying to come to terms with even if she does get out of this iron coffin, it's very possible that she'll never see Terrasen anyway because she has to give herself up for the lock in the word gate. And either way, it doesn't really matter because she's never leaving this box. At least that's the point that she's at right now. And she gets so sad that she imagines that she hears a voice which sounds like her mother.
Oh.
And some of my favorite dialogue in this whole series. There's so many quotable quotes in this series, but of course this is one of them. Fireheart, why do you cry? And her response is, because I am lost and I do not know the way.
Do not know the way.
My heart, I can't. And of course, her mother, because she believes it actually is her mother, reaching out to her to try to give her some strength, to the point that she imagines that her mother, Evelyn, is there with her in the coffin. And her mother says, you must be brave a little while longer, and remember, it is the strength of this, her heart, that matters. No matter where you are, no matter how far, this will lead you home. Look at my heart.
It's too early for this. I shouldn't be feeling this emotional in the morning on a Wednesday. It's Thursday, but oh my god, I'm also seeing my mom in a few days. So I'm like, it's the holidays.
And of course, like again, like this chapter 12, I feel is just so emotional because not only is she at a very low point, this is one of like the higher points in Aelin's like period of torture because her heart, the strength in her heart is what matters. Her mother reminds her as well, you do not yield. Which, by the way, if you do not know Taylor Ash is a fantastic composer who will be helping us with the movie as well, with some of the soundtrack.
An amazing song to
Oh
this.
God, yeah, and she composed an amazing song for this chapter called "You Do Not Yield." So if you are reading along with us, go back, reread while you are listening to that song. It's "You Do Not Yield" by Taylor Ash.
Pop that song on, just
just casually, just if you wanted to cry.
On your lunch break, on your commute home, just let it all out.
In the song.
Goes back to
Oh no, it's okay. In the song,
this whole chapter, like we talked about it literally 5 seconds ago, but again, it just reminds me how young she is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And like also how young she has been through all the other books.
Yeah, because like, and the fact that she didn't have her mother, like she lost her mother so young. Yeah, that
and
kind
we've
of
been through what is it, 5 other books of just the worst things that you can experience as a teenager, and now she's here and she's only 19.
Yep, and she thinks this is the end, and her mother is saying this is not the end. Where do you even go from here?
Okay. What were you
well, I mean, we know where she goes from here, and it's very sad.
We do. No, there's a reason that this book is so thick.
Yeah, so if you actually listen to the song and as you're reading the chapter, in the song you hear her fist pounding against the iron lid of the coffin, and it is
so good.
It's fantastic.
So good.
But she feels that strength in her, like as if her fire magic is coming out despite all the iron, despite the torture, despite everything. She feels that strength within her, to the point that they drug her again using the Gloriella smoke that initially knocked her out when they pulled her from the beach in Eelway. And when she wakes up, she actually sees the top of the coffin lid. She's out of the coffin, and she sees that the top of the coffin lid has been warped where she was beating against the coffin lid. And I really hope that Cairn shit his pants. Like,
I think that, yeah, I think he had to waddle away from that one. I think he's also been, I mean, how long has she been there? And this has just sort of become routine for him. And then one day he's like, uh-oh.
Yep.
I don't think this is working.
This is not working.
This is bad. This is a bad sign.
And if
he's gonna die or get fired.
If you, I think at least in Karen's case, it is one and the same.
True. Yeah.
So, yeah, and if we were in any doubt of how strong Aelin is in that moment, feeling that magic in her as she's beating against the coffin lid, at the very end of chapter 12, on a dark hilltop overlooking a sleeping kingdom, Rowan froze. Oh, that sends shivers down my spine. This man has been looking for his wife for like 2 straight months and has felt nothing. Absolutely nothing. All of the pain that Aelin has endured, has absolutely not felt it through their mating bond. But he felt that. He felt it as if she was right there. And not only him, but the others that were with him as well. So Gavriel and Morgan, like, Elide. Oh. Everybody felt that magic. And
imagine, after 2 months.
And in an iron box.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so he once again reaffirms his stance that he's going to find her. And it looks like he's got some sort of a plan to draw Maeve out. Don't know what it is yet.
We do, but we haven't got.
I mean, we do, but you guys don't. If you're reading along with us. So, chapter 13. We are back with Manon and Dorian.
Back with the spiders.
Yeah, with the spiders. So many spiders.
There are
Lauren
less of
loves
them in this
spiders.
chapter than I thought there would be more spiders. I hate spiders, but luckily there are less spiders than I thought there would
Yeah,
be.
it's not so many.
And
There's more spiders in,
yeah,
like,
and-
earlier books.
yeah,
Like Tower of
but
Dawn.
less spiders and 2 crowd favorites.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine. I think
Yeah.
when you weigh them against each other, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, oh god, yeah, we are going far, far back.
We are so far because
They
got
just
here.
met the
Yeah.
Krakens here. So yeah, it looks like. So as a reminder, they've found the Stygian spider Cyrene, who was the same spider that Manon stole the silk from for Abraxas's wings.
Yeah, barter is a generous term for what happened.
Yeah, but Dorian seems to have her well in hand, and is containing her within her human body. But it looks like the 13 and Dorian have finally found the Krakens. They're kind of unsure of how they're going to approach them, but Manon does say no nails or teeth.
Important.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to be reminded.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for the Iron Teeth they needed to be reminded.
Yeah, I think we're all in a hostile sort of mentality anyway.
Yeah, and we have to kind of remember at this point that Manon has never been royalty before. Like, she was an heir, she was her grandmother's heir, but
Now she has the
Yeah.
responsibility of royalty.
yeah, she doesn't actually know how to act like royalty, especially because, like, these are obviously not the Iron Teeth. Like, the Iron Teeth respond purely to strength, and
Yeah.
the Krakens are, I don't want to say more civilized, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just whoever punches somebody, you know,
They have a
the
little
hardest.
bit more decorum.
There you
They
go.
value, like, yes, brevity and wit and all those sorts of, like, royal things that get you by.
Yeah, exactly.
So she is doing pretty intense balancing act.
Yeah, and it's kind of very obvious when she's literally faced with the Krakens and freezes. She apparently came up with a whole speech and cannot remember any of it, or cannot actually get herself to say any of it.
Yeah. This is kind of the first time that you ever see her unsure.
Yeah, and
good.
yeah, I wonder what Dorian thinks of this, because I don't think we really get his kind of point of view of. I mean, I'm sure we get, like, some of his opinion later, but, like, at this point in time, at this exact moment, I wonder how he views Manon. Like, Dorian, who has grown up in royalty all his life and has that background in politics, has that background in public speaking, and, like, all these things that come so naturally to him. And, like, this woman that I guess not a woman, this witch that he so admires is, like, frozen. Like, she is saying so many weird, hesitant, stunted things.
He does kind of, like, introduce himself and step in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, they're like, oh, you're the king. And he's like, oh, well, I'm that too. But
You know.
I wear many hats in this department. Again, that is cute how he does kind of try to take the pressure off of her a little bit and be like, oh, I'm here too. Like,
yeah,
I'm
you know, it's his part of his charm. Like, that's part of, like, the things that he's good at. So,
and he's also like he knows how to do.
he does,
and she doesn't. So that was a nice little moment where they're all like, who is this person?
Yeah, and it looks like you know, they are told to stand down, and they are stood down by what appears to be a very ancient witch. As we know that witches age very differently, I mean, it appears up until magic disappeared from the world, Manon was like, she looked like she was 16 or something, but she was over 100 years old. So you can imagine this Kraken.
Ancient.
Yeah, this Kraken is so wizened that her hair is white. And yeah, not even Manon's grandmother's hair was white. It was starting to streak with gray.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you come to find out that this ancient witch's name is Glennis, and she served the Kraken, or her family served the Kraken royals before the Witch City fell. And she kind of mentions that she mentions Rhiannon, who is the witch that Manon was forced to kill by her grandmother back in the Farian Gap. And Glennis kind of sighs and says, yeah, I knew Rhiannon. Rhiannon was my I was her great-grandmother, as I am yours. Dun dun dun! Family!
That was a soap opera ending.
It really was.
But also, oh man, poor Manon, because finding out you just killed your cousin must suck.
Yeah, right? And, like, it's one of those that everybody holds her accountable for it, even though she didn't know who this person was. But now
But
she's a
also,
kinslayer,
you really shouldn't kill your cousin.
Yeah, you know.
That's not a good move. But she didn't know.
Well, it's kind of weird because Manon has cousins. I believe it's Edda and Briar are both her cousins, as well as Asterin. So she's particularly close to them.
Yeah.
So it must feel, maybe she's not as close to Rhiannon, but it's similar to, you know, being forced to kill one of them.
Right.
I don't know.
Like,
It's
you
very,
have.
very rough.
No, that's
What?
everything else. No, it's just on top of everything else going on. She flies. She's trying to be a ruler, and she flies in, and just to have everybody not like you, and then on top of it being like, hey, by the way, I'm your grandma, and also, by the way,
You killed your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah. If this wasn't a soap opera enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it rolls right into chapter 14. We're still with the Krakens and Manon. They all kind of gather around a fire that Glennis has invited them to in order to eat and rest. And Dorian asks, hey, did you know you still had kin? And of course Manon did not.
No.
And he tries to be supportive of her and asks, you know, how do you want to play this? What do you want me to do? Like, how can I help you? And Manon's like, Asterin's my second. Like, I don't care what you do. Which is very Manon of her, and I feel like is should be taken as a action of affection.
Yeah.
She hasn't killed you yet,
like,
so.
Oh, don't worry about it. I got it. It's, well, why would you worry about it? You're
Exactly.
not in charge.
Yeah. And so this is I thought this was really cute. Dorian actually says, consider it a tip from one monarch to another.
Aww.
As he tries to, like, kind of give her advice on how to talk to these royals, probably because, or not these royals, these Krakens, probably because he saw how much she was struggling when they first showed up.
Well, it's just, like, it's so sweet how he's trying not to, like, tell her what to do, but he's also trying to be like, hey, this is what you should do, or, like, this is what I would do.
Here's, like, a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like.
You know, if it were me, this is how I would, you know.
He's trying to respect her
told.
while also saying,
can't, like,
you
it's-
don't really know what you're doing, do you?
He can't tell her what to do. That's just not an option. Like, he could, but then it's like she would just do the opposite of whatever he told her to do. So he knows her.
So, yeah,
Yeah, too
but
short.
their conversation is interrupted by the Iron Teeth, an Iron Teeth patrol showing up seemingly out of nowhere. And I don't really know how I missed this, but there's a line in here that says the Iron Teeth had found them far sooner than Manon had planned. I didn't, for whatever reason, I knew that Manon had planned it, but that was because of like conversations that they have later on. But for whatever reason, I completely skipped this line far sooner than Manon had planned.
We didn't talk about this. No.
So like I honestly thought it was the Iron Teeth that found them, and then like they go in and they close ranks and they start doing this whole fight, and it's like a really big thing. And then the way that we find out as the audience, I thought, was when Dorian realizes that Manon is lying later. But I didn't realize
it's
that
right there.
I didn't realize that Sarah J. Maas just fucking wrote it. Like, it's right there, far sooner than... Okay, fine.
It's also just like, it could be such a throwaway line if you're not paying attention, because there's a huge battle right after, you know. Do you read the Iron Teeth had found them, and then there's a different paragraph, so you jump right to the paragraph. 'Cause you're
Exactly.
Like, fight, there's a battle happening, like, we gotta get to the meat, and it's an easy line to not really, absorb. Damn it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just didn't notice it. Honestly, Dorian is being a fucking baller in this battle.
He
Um,
is.
He's just piercing wyvern wings with his ice magic. Like, I love that for whatever reason, you know, Aelin had to sit here and train with Rowan for weeks in order to how to use her magic. And here's Dorian just being like, pew, 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 pew,
Dorian's
pew,
just,
pew.
blasting things out of the sky.
Like,
It's
great,
nothing.
cool. Of course, I thought this was a really cute, and there's a really cute interaction here with Glennis shoots an arrow, and Dorian also lets one of his ice spears fly, and both the arrow and the ice spear hit a wyvern at the same time. And Glennis goes, I struck first. And Dorian's like, I wish you were my great-grandmother. I'm like, I love Dorian. He
They've
is such a
just met,
trip.
literally just met, and he's already like, oh,
I love you. You're great. I mean, she could be your great-grandmother in law.
Yeah. No, it's like, I'm in love with your great-granddaughter. What do you have to offer her? Nothing but this.
So at some point, Manon starts telling everybody, all the Krokens, to clear out and form lines lower to the ground. And Glennis backs her up by telling them all to follow her command, so they all do that. And the 13 do what they do best and just bulldoze their way through
Yep.
through the Iron Teeth. I mean, they're the ones who taught them how to do this anyway, so they really didn't really stand a chance, even if it was 2 patrols. But the problem comes when Manon slices the head off of one of the yellow-legged sentinels who are attacking them. And of course, she does it right in front of Dorian, who is really in the back of his mind still trauma boy over Sasha.
Yeah.
Sorsha. And he ends up having a PTSD flashback of Sorsha's death and her beheading. And even though there is a wyvern that comes down and is trying to eat Dorian, he is just not in a place to react. And we get to see kind of this big show of magic, which I am still torn on whether it was intentional or reactionary, because it's very like kind of ambiguous in the chapter. But because the wyvern kind of closes its jaws around him, and then suddenly its corpse is steaming because Dorian has turned his entire body into flame and melted the poor beast like from the inside out.
Such a great image. That's such a great image. Yeah, intentional or reactionary is fight or flight response or intentional.
Yeah, because it says Manon screamed his name again, but he couldn't move. The wyvern swept down, and darkness yawned wide as those jaws closed around him, as Dorian let his magic rip free of its tethers. So, like, in one sentence it says he couldn't move, and in another sentence he lets his magic rip free. So I'm not sure which one. It can kind of go either way. What do you think?
See, I picture him like, because I've been in a situation where you do kind of freeze up because you're panicked. So I picture him kind of like hunching down, but then the flames go up as he goes into the mouth. Because when you're panicking, you want to like kind of contract into yourself, and I wonder if just by doing that he unleashes something. And so when he gets smaller, the flames get bigger. And then as the wyvern kind of like opens its mouth is when the flames go up.
I can see that. I think I think because of that, it's definitely very reactionary. It's kind of like a what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh my god, like reaction of
because it's still like because he's cool. I mean the ice is coming out like totally naturally because he's like pew pew, but then he's still trying to figure the magic stuff out. So I think that this was reactionary because even if he didn't mean to do it, it's still like he's defending himself. Unintentionally.
Yep. And I think that's definitely what it is, and he still has a little bit of that to work through. It's a teensy tiny bit.
He's still got his training wheels. He's going through it.
A little bit of trauma as a treat.
Yeah. As a treat.
Yeah, the Krakens are quick to accuse Manon of leading the Iron Teeth to them, which, I mean, they're not wrong. We find out that the Kraken who first intercepted them and is now calling her out on her bullshit is called Bronwyn. And Glennis is trying to stand up for Manon and saying, like, hey, they fought with us. Do you swear that you did not lead them here? And Manon swears. She says, I swear it, I did not lead them here. But Dorian, with his magic sword, can feel the ice-cold hilt of Damaris, which, if you don't remember, Damaris turns warm when somebody's telling the truth, and cold when it senses lies. So that's when I figured it out the first time I read through it.
Because at that point, she makes it really clear.
Yeah.
Like, there's no if, ands about it. It's like, oh, she did lie. She lied to everybody.
Everyone, just straight up, cold face, you know.
Yep. For Dorian, he's like, she lied. I almost got eaten.
Yeah, right. Oh, you know, now that I think about it, right? It's one of those Manon. So I kind of thinking back on it now. Manon was extra panicked about it because she was the one who brought them here. And if Dorian dies because of who she brought, she would never forgive herself. And that is also Dorian realizing I almost died because of something that Manon did.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't, for whatever reason, that connection did not click in my head before, but I thought that he was just upset that, like, oh, like, she lied. Like, that is, how could you? And maybe, like, there's definitely
so much deeper than that.
Yeah, maybe there's, like, a little bit of that, but I have a feeling that Dorian isn't like that. Like, Aelin lied to him all the time, and it wasn't a big deal. So, like...
He takes it well, you know.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's a little bit of a, I almost died, and that was Manon's fault. Like, and guess what? We just keep going with this fun party train in chapter 15.
Yeah, we will not let up. We are counting our dead. We are having regrets.
It's great.
Well, no, we're not having regrets. You know, it's like I had no regrets about what I'd done. Had no room in her for regret, but she still feels bad.
Maybe she has a little bit of regret. She said she has no regret, but I think she does.
Like, I have no regrets, but you're like, but why is my stomach upset all the time? I'm sweating.
I don't have anxiety, says the person grinding their teeth.
Yeah, exactly. Like.
Yeah, and this is kind of where Manon realizes this is an interesting turning point, I think, for her, because it is the first time that she sees a direct bad result from a choice that she made as a leader and a queen. Right?
Yep.
So she decided that she was going to sacrifice, I don't know, I think it was like 24 or 26 Iron Teeth to try and buy the Crocken's trust. And at the same time, a bunch of Crockens have also died, so she also sacrificed them in order to buy their trust. And she thinks that if she hadn't done that, then she wouldn't. It says in here, and the fact remained that they did not have the time to waste in wooing the Crockens. And so this is the only method she knows how to communicate is violence and battle.
Yeah.
And
it didn't end well.
Yeah, I always forget that that early on in Kingdom of Ash, this is like where she is. She is not really ready to be a queen. She doesn't really know how to move forward. And I think that it's very interesting because like Dorian knows how to be a king. And in a lot of ways, Ansel already knows how to be a queen. And we've seen all the royals in the Cognate. Like, they kind of all, like, know how to be royals. And Aelin is Aelin. Aelin is the main character. She already knows everything that she needs to say, and it's perfect. But, like, for some reason, I mean, i.e. the reason
it's not
being
something she naturally gravitates to.
the reason being her entire history. Manon does not know how to be a royal. And it's very, very obvious in these very early chapters.
Yeah, and this is kind of the first time that she realizes, like, the way that she normally does things is not gonna work.
This does not work. I have made a grave error.
I have to change? Why would I do that?
Yeah, it looks like yeah, so yeah, she's I feel like she's struggling a little bit with this, and it's still kind of on her mind, as well as what Dorian is thinking of, because she keeps trying to, like, catch his eye, and he is meeting hers very pointedly, and she's like, nope, we're gonna talk about that later, definitely not right now, because right now is not a good time.
You want to tell me?
Yeah. And it seems that this has opened up the Crockens at least slightly, and Glennis is way more accepting of her. She was already, like, very friendly to her now, but Glennis is now, like, treating her more like the great-granddaughter that she is. and starts kind of telling her a little bit about her family history, and says that this is the first time that a Kraken and an Iron Teeth have shared a meal together in peace, except ever since your mother and father. And Manon never really hears a lot about her parents. This is probably like some of like the first things that she's ever heard about them that weren't disparaging, because I imagine that her grandmother, what little she told Manon, is not very kind.
Not positive at all.
Yeah.
No. She didn't even know his name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so you kind of find out that Glennis bore Manon's grandfather, and her grandfather made it a Kraken Queen, and the Kraken Queen gave birth to Manon's father. So, it would, and that's when, Manon's mother met him. I believe his name was Tristan.
Kristen, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, she, after she and Tristan fell in love, and Manon's mother had to go back to the Iron Teeth but never returned, to carry on the Kraken royal line, Tristan was asked to marry another witch, and even though they didn't love each other, they bore Rhiannon. So that's how come they are, I guess, like half sister. Actually, it's not cousin.
They are half sisters, yeah. Because if they have the same father, ooh, that's worse.
Yeah, right. I feel like that's even worse.
Oh man, I was just like, cousin slaughter, bad. Sibling slaughter, worse.
I feel like family slaughter in general, but like,
I mean, listen, nobody wants to do it, you know? It's one of those things where you're like, if I can avoid this at all costs, I will. But also, if it's a double whammy. It's when you think you killed your cousin and then finding out that you killed your half-sister. She just keeps taking hit after hit.
Yeah, this is like a really rough 3 chapters for her, honestly.
The growing pains are so big right now.
Yeah, no, in this chapter we actually find out who her cousin is. It's Bronwyn, and there's more cousins, but Bronwyn, who we mentioned earlier, who is very suspicious of Manon and wishes for her to go away and never come back. Preferably, if you do come back, make sure you're dead. Is actually her cousin. So yeah, and of course, she and Rhiannon were as close as sisters, according to Glennis.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, just one hit right after the other. Manon's having a great time.
Just make her feel worse, why don't you?
And that's where, at this point, that's when Manon and Dorian bring up that, yeah, they were trying to ask the Krakens to join the war against Morath. And Dorian, of course, asks the loaded question, what if their queen summoned them to fight? And Bronwyn is like, don't answer her!
Yeah, just don't, no, Grandma, don't do it.
And very stoutly declares, you are not our queen, despite what your blood might suggest. Despite this little skirmish, we do not and will never answer to you. And they go back and forth a little bit, where Manon's trying to convince them that, like, you should fight against Morath because Morath will find you eventually. And Terrasen is currently rallying a host, and you should probably join them. But Terrasen didn't come to their aid 500 years ago, so why would they put themselves out for that? Which honestly is fair, but also that was 500 years ago. But I guess for a witch, that's not very long.
Well, for
at
witches,
all.
That's like last year.
Yeah, right. It's not long at all. So
it's like still fresh for them.
Yeah, they essentially they end on a very bad note. Bronwyn's just kind of like leaves, and Glennis is like, yeah, our family, you will find, has a hot-headed streak, which, yep, can definitely see that.
Yep.
But the thing is that, you know, if you think about it, Etta and Briar don't seem to be, they're the shadows. They're usually, if I remember correctly, they're usually like pretty chill. And Asterin is like not hot-headed. She is more like like freedom loving. So like did the hot-headed streak come from the Kraken line? Which I
mean,
think
all signs sort of point to,
yeah.
You know?
Cuz I just think that's pretty funny. So we cut back to Dorian. And Dorian is trying to talk to Cyrene about how she shapeshifts. And she tries to kind of avoid the question by talking about Dorian himself, but Dorian is very, you know, he's not here to play around, and so he just asks again, where does the shifting come from inside you? And the way she describes it is that there was, when magic was released back in the world, she discovered that she had a new place inside of her that wasn't there before. And so that was my printer. Hold on.
I was like, hello?
And this is kind of the first hint that we have. Do you remember Falcon?
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the first hint that we have that Cyrene is the spider that Falcon gave his 25 years to in exchange for like this much of spider silk, which honestly doesn't seem like a very good trade to me, but like what do I know?
25 years for a square of you know what, one man's trash is another man's treasure, I guess, you know?
Yeah, because if she didn't know that magic was there, and magic had been gone for a while, so Falcon probably didn't know that he had given away some of his magic because he couldn't use some of it. He couldn't use his magic at the time that he had made the exchange. And Cyrene didn't know that she had received some of that shapeshifter magic because magic was gone and, you know, she couldn't do that. So when magic returned, she realized, oh, look, I've got shapeshifting power. Yay.
Wow.
But, you know, logistics aside, this is actually also more of like a philosophical discussion where Cyrene tells Dorian that I will the shift, think of what I wish to be, and the change starts within here first. If you wish to be something, king with no crown, then be it. That is the secret to the shifting. Be what you wish. And Dorian's like, I don't fucking know what I wish to be.
I mean, it's basically just manifesting if you think about it.
It really is.
Yeah,
Just be who you wish to be, Dorian. God.
it's just like super easy. Like, just do it. Yeah.
God.
Just do
It's
it,
a
Dorian.
manifesting girly.
I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, that is everything that Dorian does. He just does it. So, like, I feel like that is some pretty reasonable advice.
So this is a natural thing for him.
God.
He does try to change his eye color and then he gets distracted.
He does. Yeah, he can't, he's having trouble willing the shift because before he gets to the point of imagining what he wishes, his thoughts and his anxiety all kind of crowds in there, and
You think too much, young king.
yeah, better than too little.
Better than too little.
And so he does something that's like really weird and kind of like, it feels like a violation. Like he like sends a tendril of his magic to Cyrene and just like kind of like touches the seed of shape-shifting power inside of her, and the spider's
That
like,
was weird.
what are you doing?
That was weird. Yeah, she's like, what the hell, man? Then
And that's when he realizes, dun dun dun, the spider is Volg. Because he remembers what the Volg prince inside of him felt like.
mm-hmm.
And he kind of, sorry, I had to just like, this is like, it goes so quickly from like, how do you do this, to, oh my god, I'm gonna kill her, like so quickly. And he kind of uses this time because he is way stronger than Cyrene. So like Cyrene cannot do anything really to defend herself. So he uses this time to really study the shape-shifting magic inside of her, because he is on the verge of getting rid of another Vulg pest, essentially, from this world. And he might have even struck an actual bargain with her at some point, but Cyrene tells him, when the time comes, I will make sure you are spared. And of course, his magical sword tells him she's fucking lying.
Yeah. No. There can be no peace. Like,
nope.
It's gotta happen.
And so without any more hesitation, he goes and he uses his magic to kill her.
He pulls it out of her.
Yep, he just takes the magic, just so he can hold on to it and kind of see one last touch of how it works before it dissipates. And so
I'm also just rereading this and realizing that her ashes smell.
Yeah.
I think everybody else in the camp was like, what is that?
What is that smell? I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yep. And he goes back and God, this is such a long chapter. He goes back and he meets up with Manon, and they have a very stinted conversation, but because of how he treated Cyrene and like he saw what he needed to do, and he just did it even though it was pretty ruthless, he kind of realizes like, yeah, you also did what you had to do. Like I feel that, I understand, and I think that's I don't want to say it's a strange meeting in the middle, but it feels like progress, right? So
Yeah.
Dorian has always been kind of on this side of like, I don't want of like right. So he was trying to be very like kind and just and fair, and starting with him killing his father, he's like shifting more and more towards like this ruthless side of him, which
they're arriving at like a neutral point.
Yeah, whereas Manon is going this way and being less violent.
Because they're both kind of learning from the other side of why the other does the things that they do.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Which is a healthy thing to do in a relationship.
Yeah, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, a mutual understanding.
So, he, because of this, they seem to be kind of on better terms with each other, and Dorian gives her some advice, which, looking back on this, it's I feel like this is like very like obvious advice, but we have to remember that Manon doesn't know anything about negotiating. So like maybe it's like not obvious advice to her.
It's obvious to us as like people who were not raised like she was, but to her she's like, wait, what do you mean negotiate?
It's like you have to provide them something they need, and she's like,
Yeah.
"What? Do they teach this to you in your glass castle?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's how you bargain. You give them something they need and they give you something that you need." Like that's
She's like, oh, okay.
ah the aha moment. um yeah, and then he advises that maybe she should maybe Manon should ask Glennis what that need or desire might be. And he gives like a few. He gives a very specific example, actually, of Aelin trying to rally the Mycenian fleet, and the Mycenians wouldn't be called together unless they saw a sea dragon, because the sea dragon is the symbol of the Mycenian people. So she had Lysandra, turn into a sea dragon.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just how you do it, Manon. You gotta do something that they want to see.
You gotta give the people what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Part of being a ruler.
Yeah, and she kind of also offers her perspective on his father, and kind of says that, hey, like maybe you're being a little too harsh on his memory, which is actually, now I think about it, very like not Manon.
Yeah, where did that come from? Oh, because she's learning.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, oh gosh, look at her. She's being empathetic. Very weird.
I know. Well, we're so used to seeing her in her, doing her own thing in her own way, and now it's like, oh, we're getting a softer Manon.
Yeah, and
Little
Dorian kind of calls her out on it and is like, hey, if your grandmother, like, would you ever forgive your grandmother because of all the things that she did to you? And Manon immediately shuts down. Is like, don't fucking talk to me.
Yeah, that was too close. Yeah.
And then they fuck,
They
I
bang.
guess. I mean,
that's a great way to end a conversation that you don't want to have.
yeah, I mean, if you don't want to talk, there are other things to do,
If you
I
don't want
guess.
to talk, then and then everyone's happy. Also, their night has sucked up until this point, so.
Oh my god, how long is this chapter? Jesus.
This is the long. Wait, there's 2 more pages in this chapter.
So, Manon finally wakes up in the morning to go to Glennis, and Glennis reveals that the way to summon all the Krakens to war is to ignite the flame of war.
Flame of War.
The flame of war to summon every witch from her hearth. Essentially, Brannon gave Queen Rhiannon a spark of eternally burning fire, and now even when magic disappeared, they ignited several ordinary fires to keep that flame burning. And then when the magic returned this spring, thank you everybody in Queen of Shadows, the flame again rekindled right in the hearth where we had last seen it. And I think that's real cool. That's one of like my favorite little bits of magic, is that flame of war. I think it's just kind of like a very cool little world building thing that,
Yeah.
because Krakens really value their hearths, it makes sense that something like a sacred flame in the central hearth of the Krakens is like a really big deal to them. But it's like, but to be fair, like, yeah, they all need the flame of war, but only a Kraken queen can send the flame
And
out.
ignite
So
it. Yeah.
I'm like, did you really tell her like anything that's actually useful? Or like, what she needs first is to be a queen, and you didn't
Yeah.
really tell her how to do that.
No, why would we do why it's never that easy.
No.
And I was just like, oh yeah, I'll just do that. And they're like, no. Like, that's not how that works.
And she finds out, well, okay, we're gonna go anyway because we need to go to Eelway to go help a Southern war band. And Manon's like, wait, you can't go to Eelway. We need you to go north. What are you doing?
Going in the wrong direction. Yeah, like.
But because Krakens are Krakens and they promise, they're going the Eelway. Oh boy. Chapter 16 starts off with my favorite person, Darrow.
Oh god.
Fucking hate this guy.
Back to Adian.
And Adian is two of my least favorite people in this whole ass book.
I know, you get a double whammy of them this chapter.
Just like both of you are terrible.
The worst.
Yeah, so Adian is responding to Darrow's summons. Literally, Darrow pulled the entire army back because, well, I mean, why not? And that means that they can't go anywhere else. They had to come back and report to Darrow, which keeps them in control.
Yeah. It just also feeds his stupid ego because he's like, well, you have to report to me because I'm in charge of the army. Meh.
Yep.
Asshole.
And yep, he says everybody needs to meet at dawn. And Adian kind of says, fine, then I'll bring Aelin.
Oh, and we're back to Lysandra just carrying the entire
fucking crew. Yeah, Darrow is very cold and is just like, I don't recall inviting you. And Adian goes, well, I invited her because she's technically fighting in the Bane and she's my second in command. Which, I mean, I guess that is a way of, like, getting around that. But I find it really weird.
Adian. Sure.
I find it really weird that even if she's not queen, she's still a royal of Terrasen. So even if she doesn't own land, like, I feel like she should, and she's like an asset. Like, you should still...
Yeah, she's still nobility.
Yeah, she's still nobility. She's still an asset, and she's also the reason why, like, half of this army exists. So, like, I don't know why you're... Like that always, like, didn't really make sense to me, was Darrow being like, you don't be here, you can't be here, like...
It's his stupid, like, elitist perspective. It's like, oh, you don't have land. You don't have a flag.
I mean, I think it's that, and also the thing that really pisses me off about Darrow from Empire of Storms was where he, like, asks her, where were you for 10 years? And I'm like, dude, she was 8 and now she's 18. Yeah. Like, she's a child. Like, she was surviving.
Like, why are you asking where she was instead of being like, should we have just been still continuing to look for this literal child?
Exactly. So, like, I think there is a large part of Darrow who believes that in order to prove, like, your privilege as a royal, like, you should be doing better. And you should be doing more. And you should have, like...
Even if you're a literal child whose entire family
Your responsibility is to Terrasen.
Yeah.
And so, the lords of Terrasen and their allies are there, and the old guard is telling them, we gotta go to Orinth. And everyone's saying, if we go to Orinth, the witch towers will just blow Orinth's walls to smithereens. And Darrow's like, well, we've never seen these witch towers. Which is always, I mean, like, I get where he's coming from, but, like,
And also, at this point, like, you are losing so badly.
Well, no. At this point, they haven't really won. They haven't really lost too badly. They literally just had their first engagement, and they
500,
didn't.
you're right.
And they technically won, and also didn't lose too many people. So to him, he's just like, this is like an easy fucking battle, man. Like, we don't know how many there are, but it looks like we're doing pretty great. So, like, why don't we just winter out in Orinth and, like, make it. Why do we have to try so hard? And
No, you're right. I'm thinking ahead. I hate him so much.
yeah, it's just, and I mean, like, they have kind of a little bit of a point as well with the witches, right? Because they're like, well, Manon told us, and they fought alongside us, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna listen to the witches who have been eating people for like hundreds and thousands of years, like. Okay, sure. Yeah, and
You're right.
but yeah,
this whole chapter is just basically them trying to figure out like where they want to go.
Yeah, where they want to go, and they pretty much tell them you will go to Orinth, right? So they kind of go back and forth depending on, like, the younger lords all want to help the border towns, and they don't want the entirety of Morath to just plow their way through Terrasen. But the older lords are saying that if we're going to face them, we should face them against a position of strength, and that'll be behind the walls of Orinth. And they're, I hate to say it, but like both of them have like good points, but we're kind of made to feel more towards the younger characters because they're characters we've been with for all of the books up until now. But so
But realistically, like, the older lords have a point.
yeah. So and Darrow even says, like, if you don't agree with us, allies, then you don't have to even follow us. Like, you can do whatever you want. Which, bold move, bro. Like, I think you should try to keep your allies, but that's fine.
You would think, but also we hate him, so.
Yeah, and so all the allies are like, "Now we're in, bro. I guess we'll just do whatever."
We're going to, guess we're going.
And that's where we find Knox Owen. Knox comes in, and there is apparently there is a messenger. And every this is Lauren's favorite quote.
So the before we let go footage, this was my quote, because just the way that it's written to me is so funny, because it ends the chapter. A moment before the stranger smiled and said, "Everyone sends his regards," and unleashed a blast of black wind right at her, which to me describes a fart.
Well, even worse than that, right above that, it says, Lysandra smelled the stranger the moment Adian did.
That's what I mean, like, this incredibly stinky man has just entered their tent. I think I was reading this really late one night, and so I was about to just end it and go to bed, and I couldn't stop laughing because I was like, we have now reached the point where Sarah J. Maas is using gas magic. And to me, that line it's a very serious, with chapter 17, we get very serious about things, but to me, that got a little giggle out of me after some pretty intense chapters with Manon. I was like,
of course,
Black
yeah.
Wind.
It was just kind of like, yeah.
I
Just
needed
the
a little bit
timing
of
and the
reprieve
wording.
from all of the war and the sadness and the trauma. I needed to laugh.
Your brain inserted an image, and that was that was
At
the
2
one.
a.m., just me just being like, ha, he farted, and it blew up the tent.
We roll right into chapter 17. Last chapter. Woo! This has been so long. So chapter 17, everybody just bursts into action as they're trying, like, Adian is trying to defend the Aelin. The Whitethorns are using their magic to pin the messenger down. And just Adian's just like, did no one smell that he was Volg? Like, why are we only just seeing this now?
Well, to me now it's canon that the Vogs smell like egg farts. So
the problem is that Lysandra got injured. And because she got injured and she's bleeding, the messenger's able to smell her blood and know that she is not Aelin. She is a shifter.
Yep.
And they Adian they kill him, and then Adian chops his head off just to make sure he can't get back up again. And
then Darrow's just like, clean up.
Yeah, Darrow's just like, clean up this mess.
Yeah, just sweep up my tent.
But now everybody just kind of, or not everybody, but at least Adian and Lysandra realize that Erewhon now knows that Aelin is not with them. Which is
not good.
A little bit of...
Really not good.
Yeah. Like, part of their whole plan was to make everybody think that Aelin was with them, to kind of make sure that Morath stays on its toes, because, Firebringer, Volg, etc.
Yeah.
But now that Erewhon knows, he'll be a lot bolder. But Adian tries to reassure her by saying Erewhon might hear the news and worry and wonder why Aelin isn't here. But Lysandra still thinks that, he's going to try to strike soon.
Yeah.
And Adian still insists that they need to go south and not to Orinth. And, but they still don't know how they're going to actually do that, since the majority of the lords voted against it. So Adian just says that that he has a plan. And this is kind of where their whole, like, plan shows up, where Adian and Lysandra get together, and Lysandra comes up with a plan to drug the lords in their tent using Nox Owen. And Nox actually calls Lysandra out on not being Aelin, because he knows Celaena way better.
Like, you're not doing a great job at this.
Yeah, he's like, Celaena looks...
I have 5 other jobs!
I'm doing my best.
I'm sorry if it's not perfect.
Yeah, apparently Celaena looks a little more amused than when she cut men into ribbons. But yeah, he says that, Aelin is a friend and also my queen. I'm not going to snitch. And yeah, and he asks again, like, hey, who are you? And Lysandra very quips back, Aelin. Which, is fair. You should
and
not...
Nox is like, okay.
Yeah. But Nox agrees to help them by, like I said, drugging the lords in their tent. And I will say, this is like some of the funniest but coldest prank. I like literally they laced their wine.
Abandon them.
They lace their wine and drug them into a deep, dreamless sleep, and then they leave them in their tents without horses in the middle of this field where it's like just whipping snow beyond the tent flaps. Entire army's gone. Like,
I can't imagine, like, I also have to assume that that was, like, the best sleep that any of them have had in a very long time. So imagine, like, waking up after you're like, oh, I feel really good. Like, I finally slept. Where is everybody?
God, it's like that's somebody like me who is afraid of being left behind. I feel like that would be like my worst nightmare. Like I wake up and I'm just like alone in the middle of a field, like in my tent. What
Like,
do I do
after
now?
Having gotten used to, like, literally thousands of people being around you and then just
Gone. It was
I also
crazy.
like that Lysandra turns into a field mouse in this one.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
cute.
I'm sure it's better than being. Maybe it's a change of pace from being a snow leopard, a horse, and Aelin. So.
Yeah, that rotation has got to be taxing. I feel like being something small is easy, and then also you can like nap in somebody's pocket or something.
Mm-hmm.
She
So-
needs a nap.
she needs like a year of nap. Honestly.
Lysandra needs a lot of things.
Maybe some therapy too while she's napping.
Everybody needs therapy.
She can just like
by the
osmosis it while she was sleeping. So we've hit finally the end of chapter 17. God, that was so long.
I forgot how long some of these chapters were.
Yeah, especially the beginning ones are like so
Yeah.
long. They start speeding
so
up
much
later on in the book, but like while we're
stuff in
here, there's a lot. Chapter 15 was brutal.
So long.
But as it is the end of the episode, we have to come up with actually first let's talk a little bit about what's some of the things, I guess especially for chapter 12, that you will bring into your character going forward.
Chapter 12 for me was I don't know if I've discussed this prior, but I through all of the books have had a really hard time with Aelin, and I think that this was the first moment that I realized that she is still a child and still like very much needs her mom. And I'm 31 and I still need my mom. So it was I think just once you've been at such a low point in your life, you kind of always remember being that low, even though a lot of good things can happen. Especially in the better world where we meet her. She's older and she's kind of settled and all this stuff is happening. But I think that that's something that when you're that low, you always carry it with you. And I think that there's always that fear of going back there. And this was the first time that she's been in the coffin for a while, but also she's got that. She will not give up. Like she keeps getting knocked down, and any regular person gives up at that point, but she keeps getting back up. She doesn't yield,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's it's a great message because it confronts the fact that like this is a terrible thing that's happening and it will affect you for the rest of your life, but you will get back up and good stuff will happen. And the people that are meant to find you in your life are gonna figure out how to help you, even if they're not like your fairy prince husband and your merry band of misfits.
You just have to hang in there.
You do sometimes you just have to get through the day.
I just thought of something. It's those fucking kitten posters. Just hang in there, but it's Aelin. It's Aelin, and she's like hanging from the ceiling in like chains.
My high school guidance counselor had one of those, and I remember you'd have to look at it behind the desk when you'd go in. But you know what? Sometimes you need to be reminded of that.
Sometimes.
And as stupid as those sisters are. We're still talking about them being like, you know what?
God.
I do have to hang in there, baby.
So
Sometimes
for
you're literally hanging.
so for me with Manon, I feel like even though Manon goes through a lot of character development in this book and in this series in general, we've discussed a little bit earlier about how years and time might pass a little differently for witches. And 10 years is not a long time for a witch. So, and she just started being a queen, like, in this book, really.
Yeah.
So she's only had 10 years. And even Dorian's had a longer time being a royal than that.
Yeah.
And so, it's just kind of a mindset of, I think that Manon is still learning, and she's more open to learning about being a leader and being a queen than she was pretty much at the start of this book and like earlier on in the series. But the fact of the matter is, she is still learning, and and at least in the better world, she kind of realizes that everybody else seems to be ahead of her in this regard, including Elena.
Oh.
Right? Like, Elena understands better than Manon does how to be a queen.
Yeah.
And that's gotta be really humbling, I think, for a witch.
I was gonna say that's something that, well, you know, you're right. You know, time really passes differently for her, and she is sort of thrown into it suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big game of catch up for her, especially I think for somebody that is so self-assured in so many other aspects of her life. This is a big learning experience that continues into the better world.
Yep. And that's just kind of the feeling that I wanted to carry in when I was writing the script. So she's a lot calmer, but she still has that little bit of like hesitancy when it comes to matters that relate to being a queen and being a ruler.
Yeah.
And compared to Aelin, who is just like, yeah, I know how to be a queen, I just don't know how to do everything else.
Right.
Right? Like,
well, it's that thing of, you know, you can be so self-assured in so many other aspects of your life, but there's always going to be that one thing that you just have a little bit of a harder time with.
Yep.
And everybody has that one thing, but then to see somebody else do it so well, it does leave you feeling a little like,
well, fuck, man. Like,
why can't I just do it?
Okay, so last order of business. Who is the MVP for this episode?
I'm trying to remember who it was before.
I think we chose Lysandra.
I'm still gonna stick with Lysandra.
I think so too.
Because she is doing everything for everyone. She's fighting a war. She's being a leopard and a horse and Aelin.
And a falcon sometimes.
And sometimes she's a falcon. I mean,
sometimes she's a field mouse.
So just the physical labor part alone makes her the MVP.
She's also carrying all the emotional baggage of Adian, so like...
Yeah. She is Labor by Paris Paloma right now. Like, that is her new song. Adian just continues to dump on her constantly.
God, she's trying, man.
Like, she does it all. And she shouldn't have to, but she does. So...
Lysandra, this is for you.
Lysandra still MVP of all these chapters.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, sorry for the abrupt disconnect and switch in atmosphere, but we hope you still enjoyed this episode of the Better World Book Club, Kingdom of Ash, chapters 10 to 17. We will be releasing these podcasts I believe, every week on YouTube and on whatever streaming platform you usually get your podcasts from. So if you really enjoyed our commentary on one of my favorite books ever, please make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications for the next time that we upload episode 3. And if you, for whatever reason, haven't listened to the first episode, please go do that. It's important. And we hope that we see you next time. Thank you guys so much. Bye.